So now that we've talked about using a logo generator, I want to show you this last option that you have when creating your logo yourself, and it's to use simple typography. Now, as you've seen in my example, this is something I really like because even when I was showing you the logo generator, I went with a simple typographic logo, meaning there is no bells and whistles, no icons, no drawings anywhere. It was a really nice font, a very bold, strong font for the brand that I was working with. And I think that we have to keep in mind that this is not only enough, but it also is what actually looks the most professional. So if you're not a designer and you don't want to use a logo generator, this is definitely my best recommendation. It's the one that I think is the easiest, and also that gives you the most professional, simple yet elegant design. It's also really affordable. You do need to purchase a font, which I'll show you how to do in a second, but you only purchase that font once, and the advantage of that is that it's not a free font. It's a very professionally designed font that's been created by a graphic designer and that you get to own and to use anywhere on your graphics and on your website after that. So in my opinion, it really is a risk-free option because this will give you a logo that's simple, elegant, professional, and you know is going to work for as long as you need it to. It could be a logo that you keep for 15 years, or it definitely will be at least sufficient for you to have a logo that's typographic only until you can afford to work with a graphic designer down the track if you want to. So here are a few examples of fictional brands that I have created for you to show you what a simple typographic logo really is. So those three logos are Eco Bobo, Laura's Wish, and Kitty Kitty, and they are simply created using the process I'm about to show you, purchasing a font and then using it in Canva to simply type your business name with it, which gives you a logo. Now, Eco Bobo is the only one where I've also added a line below and at the top to kind of frame the business name, which is something that you can do. You can also think about having a full frame, so a full rectangle box around it. But in most cases, it's enough to just type in your business name in a really professionally designed font like the one you can see on screen. Kitty Kitty, for example, the one at the bottom, I had in mind a kids brand here that was kind of fun and playful, and I think that this is conveyed really well with just a really nice font without having to have any fancy things around or any icons or anything like that. So it's really simple for you to design it. So to do this, we are not going to use a free font. We are going to use a premium font designed by a graphic designer, a professional, and premium fonts do have a cost, of course, but it's a small cost of around $15. And again, this is something that you only pay once and that you get to keep and to use on any of your graphics, that you get to use everywhere for your brand after that. So the two tools that we're going to look at together are first creativemarket.com, so that you can find a font that works for your brand and purchase it, and then canva.com, which is, as you know, our graphic design software that we've already looked at, and we'll use the font that you purchase inside of canva.com to create your logo. So let's take a look. So here we are on the creativemarket.com website, and the link to that is in your workbook, of course. And this is really a website where you can purchase photos, graphics, fonts, any graphic design template that have been made by designers around the world that you can purchase the right to. So we're going to be focusing here on fonts because this is what we're looking for your logo. And so essentially you can either click here under font, and then it will offer you a selection of styles of fonts. So this is a nice way to navigate the site if you already know, for example, that you want a script font, or if you know that you want a sans serif font, for example, you can sort of filter down your search this way. Or up here in the corner, you can select in the drop-down fonts and then simply type in a keyword for your font. So for example, I would maybe type, feminine, and it will give me feminine fonts. If I'm not happy with that, I can change it and I can say elegant under fonts. And here I'm being offered a few different fonts. Now, as you can see, these are gorgeous fonts that have been designed by professional graphic designers. So they really, on their own, do a lot to improve the perceived value of your brand because they look so different from the free fonts that we're used to see, that we can see that someone has put effort into designing those. These are all really gorgeous, and at this point it's really a matter of having a look around and spending some time picking a font that's going to work for you. But the most important part is that you can test the font with your business name to see how it would actually look. So when you click on a font like I have here, they will show you a few examples of what it would look like. Because remember, when you purchase the font, say this one, for example, is $22, you would need the desktop version. And once you purchase it, you can reuse it after that on your graphics as well if you want. So it's nice to see the type of things that you can do with it because it's something that you will own after that. So here, if you keep scrolling, you will see that I can type in a text. So I'll type in Hola Mia. What I like to do is type it in uppercase and also in lowercase just to see what the font looks like in those two options. This font is obviously an uppercase font, meaning that even if you type something in lowercase, it will look like it's uppercase. So it's not really helpful here. And then I can just change the size here to see what it looks like. And these are all the files that would be included in your purchase. So you get different weights for that font, a light and a regular and a medium weight, which is a bit wider and stronger. So if you find, for example, that you like this font, you would simply click on Finish Purchase and then enter your payment information. And from there, you will be able to download your files. If you want to know what the files will be, you have here under Product Specs, preview the files, and they will tell you exactly what files you will be getting and in what format. If you don't know what those are, it's fine. You don't need to know. All you need to make sure of is that you select the right license type. So I would recommend you read what are these, this little information page here, to make sure that you understand the rights that you are purchasing with this font. But for most of you, the desktop license will be enough to create graphics and most importantly to create your logo. Now the last thing I want to show you on Creative Market is that they have what they call font duo or font bundles. And these can be really nice if you if you have several words in your business name and you want to use one font for one word and another for the second word. So for example, I have Hola Mia, and you can see here I have two completely different fonts. So if I click on this, I will be able to purchase what's called a duo. And so I will get this font as well as this one. So it can be nice depending on what you're trying to achieve to have those two different fonts. And for example, I could have Mia being that first font, and Hola, I could decide to use this little one here instead, so that I have two kind of different fonts in my own logo. And so here you can see examples of how they have done it here and use that in several different designs. So if it's something that you could be interested in, make sure that you look for fonts duo or fonts bundle, because you can purchase bundles of fonts, which gives you even more options. So once you've selected and purchased the font, the custom font that you wanted from creativemarket.com, you have saved those font files to your download folder on your computer. You can go back to Canva, and the reason I initially recommended in the previous lesson that you upgraded to the free 30 days trial of the premium plan on Canva is because this will let you upload your own custom font to the Canva platform so that you can then use it in your design. So to do so, you want to go on the left here and click on Brand Kit, and here you will see Brand Fonts, and this is really where you can upload your own fonts. So we're going to click on Upload a Font and then navigate to the folder on your website where you've uploaded the font that you just purchased from creativemarket.com. In my case, I'm using a font that I already had purchased before that I think is going to work well for this example. And I have different weights in my bundle of fonts. So when I purchased the font, I was given a font that looks quite bold and then lighter and lighter and lighter. So different weights. So I'm going to be using for my logo this one and the bold one. So I'll open them separately, one by one. Yes, upload. And then I'll upload my second one separately, which is the bold one that I also wanted. Upload. And you can see them appear right here. So when that's done, I'm ready to click on Create a Design, Custom Dimensions, and I'm going to write 1000 by 1000 pixels. And now when I go under text, because we've just uploaded a font, and if I click on Add a Heading, I will be able to type in my business name here, Hola Mia, and then if I double click to select the text and look at the font drop down here at the top, I will see my custom fonts that we just uploaded together. So I'm going to use the light version of mine, and actually the idea that I had for this particular logo was to type in Hola in this thin version and then add another one to say Mia. Just going to move it out of the way. To move it, you can just click and hold it as you drag it across. And then here I'm going to ask for the bold version of this font. And now I'm just going to put them a little bit closer and maybe select them together and center it, or I'll just put it here at the top. And this is already a pretty good logo. I could decide to keep it black for that really strong, elegant, classic look that this brand I'm working with is going for, but I want to show you how to add color to your logo if you want to use one of your color palette colors in your logo. So what I would do is simply click on the text, and then here under this little rainbow and the letter A is your text color picker. So when you click on this, you can see here where the rainbow is, or it's not really a rainbow, but you know what I mean. If you click on new color, you will see an option to type in here again your hex code. So go back to your color palette that you've created in the previous lesson, pick the color that you want to use and type in your hex code in here. In my case, I'm going to use the dusty pink, and so it's going to be A64E77. Now, every time you use a custom color in Canva, it is being saved here under your document colors. So you don't have to type it again if you want to use it for another part of your design. So in here, if I also want to color Mia in pink, I only have to select it and then click pink, and it will change it for me. I could decide, of course, to have this be a different color and not be necessarily the pink that I had in my color palette, but it could be, for example, the blue that I had instead, in which case it would be this color. And I have here a logo that has a combination of colors. This is a personal decision that you have to make considering your color palette and the font that you've picked. In my case, I honestly liked it more in pink and in all one color because we already have an element of differentiation because of the light font here and the bolder font in this part of the logo. So I quite like it this way. I might make those two a little closer, and this is good enough to be my logo already. Now, something that's important is that sometimes you might have to use your logo in a space that's a circle or a square. So for example, imagine if you wanted to print a little circle sticker to put on your packaging for your product. If it's a square or a circle, it's going to be quite hard to fit this logo in because it's really on one line. So it's important to try and design your logo in two different formats. One would be in one line, so a rectangular format, and one would be more in a square format. So for this one, the easiest thing to do is to actually drag this Mia below Hola so that we have a more square shape for this second logo. So I'm going to select this by clicking and dragging all over. And then if I hit Ctrl C and then Ctrl V or Command C and Command V if you're on a Mac, it's going to duplicate this for me. I'm going to move it down a bit. I'll drop Mia just below Hola, and this maybe put a bit higher. And this can be my alternative logo. So for example, on my website, in my navigation bar, I might use this version because it fits better in that space. But if I need to print something like a sticker in the shape of a circle, then this version of my logo is going to work much better. Okay, so now that I've got my two logos designed, I want to save them so that I can start using them. So what I'm going to do here is click this little icon that says copy page, and it will create the exact same page here at the bottom. So I'm going to leave the rectangular version at the top by deleting this one here. So I'll select this, then click on the little pin here. Same for Mia. And then this, I'll put more in the center. And what I'll do as well is I actually want my logo to be a bit bigger. So I'll make this a bit wider. And then here I'm going to go to 120. And I will do the same here for Mia, make this a bit broader, and 120. And now I have something that's a little bit easier to work with. And once I'm happy with this, I can go to the second page that we've just copied and do the opposite. So I'll delete this one this time. And I'm going to put that more in the center, and then I'll make this bigger. And I can go to 144 this time, move that at the top, larger, 144 here as well. And center them to the middle, and here is my second version of my logo. Now at this stage I'm pretty much ready to save them, and so what I'm going to do is click on the download button here, and what you really want is to have a couple of files. So when you save this, it will save two files for you, one for this version and the second one for this version, which is perfect. So they are separate files for you in your computer. But we also want you to have one with a white background that you can use when you have a white background on your website, for example, and one with transparent background, so that if you want to use this on a blue or a black or another color background, it won't have this white feeling in the back here. So I would recommend that you click on transparent background, and then you can click on download, preparing your design. And as you can see, it's just downloaded a zip file to my computer. And if I click on it to open it, I can see two of my files, my square version and my rectangular version. And just like that, you have a logo, and you have two versions of it on a transparent background, meaning that you can use them everywhere and your work is done. Now, before we move on to the next lesson, I want to take a minute to talk to you about your slogan. You don't need a slogan, but if you want to have a slogan or you have one in mind, it's a great idea to use it in combination with your logo, which is why I wanted to talk to you about it now. So a slogan, according to the Business Dictionary, is a simple and catchy phrase that accompanies a logo or a brand and that encapsulates a product's appeal or the mission of a company, and it makes it more memorable. Now, when we think about brands like Nike, Apple, or McDonald's, we usually know what their slogan are without having to think about it too much because they have such good brand awareness. Everyone in the world knows these three brands. Nike is Just Do It, Apple is Think Differently, and McDonald's would be I'm Loving It. Now, it's not always easy to come up with something short and smart like Just Do It from Nike. And without the brand awareness these bigger businesses have, it is often better to keep your slogan clear and simple instead of too smart. And without the brand awareness these bigger businesses have, the best for us smaller businesses is often to not try and be too smart with our slogans, but to really keep them clear and simple. You can use tools like the Shopify Slogan Maker to generate ideas, and I will link to those tools in your workbook, so make sure to check them out. And they really aren't perfect tools that are going to generate the perfect slogan for you, but they will spark some imagination and creativity and really help you generate ideas for your own slogan. Now, when you think about a slogan, I really want you to think about it like if it was a tagline. So think not just in terms of the products that you create. This is not necessarily what the slogan needs to say, but also think of words and adjectives that describe how you want your customers to feel, your values as a brand, and your mission as a brand, so that you get a wider variety of ideas. For example, if you made statement pieces, jewelry that have a really bold, strong look with some signature styles that have pretty big pendants on necklaces, you could have a tagline or a slogan that says bold looks good on you. Or if you were making any fashion item or any jewelry item that was very colorful and your brand is very joyful, very colorful, you could have a slogan that says color looks good on you. If you were selling ceramic mugs exclusively, you could have a slogan that says for the love of coffee. Or if you were selling your own illustration that you create, your own art that are printed on t-shirts, you could say something like say it with a T. If you were selling leather belts, leather bags, or any kind of leather goods, and really focusing on really high quality items and products that you know will last a generation or more, you could use a slogan like leather done well. I am by no means saying that those slogans are perfect, especially by translating them in Spanish for you. I'm not sure that they sound necessarily quite as good as they would in English, but you need to think about your slogan as something that accompanies your logo and that will always be in the context of your website or your shop, so they will see images next to it. So it doesn't need to say exactly what it is that you sell, but it needs to communicate your brand and your shop values and mission. Now, the last thing I want to say is that you don't need a slogan. It's really great if you have one, but I don't want you to stop this creative process because you don't have a slogan. It's okay to come back to it. I don't want you to get too stuck trying to make one up, because often with these things, the more we think about it, the less we can come up with a creative idea that we actually like. And it's likely that it's going to come to you when you least expect it. You might be doing the dishes one day and suddenly the slogan comes to you. So really keep in mind that it's great if you can have one, but don't stop this creative design process simply because you don't have one. If you do have a slogan or a tagline, you can use it below your logo in your logo file, but make sure to have a file with the slogan and a file without. Because sometimes if, for example, you are using your logo for in a small space, the slogan might not be easy to read because it might be too small, in which case it's important that you have your logo file without the slogan below as well.